again, this one, there are certainly a lot of people who are selling their XRP coins right now, and the foot just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm fairly sure there are many people who are selling their XRP coins. What is the reason for the big campaign that has been going on, which refers to a foot attack that has recently taken place, once more wisdom gained via the coin telegraph, slimes made by Zach XPT? According to XRP, he will no longer provide assistance to the community, which is described as its exit liquidity for insiders. It is not worthwhile to support Ripple holders because they do not contribute anything of value to the industry, with the exception of providing liquidity for industry insiders. The same can be said for Cardano, Pulse Chain, Hedera, and other examples. Just so you know, if you look at it from a particular angle, you can find that in every single coin. XE liquidity, there is always going to be a need for XE liquidity, right? This is the reason why they inflated Bitcoin to above 100,000 so that they could begin selling, which is also the reason why Satoshi Nakamoto has not yet started his selling binge. Also, when he does make his debut, which is likely to be sooner rather than later, Bitcoin will most likely be trading at a very high price. Would you agree? In order for them to be able to absorb, or in order for the market to be able to absorb as much of his Bitcoin selling pressure as feasible, when will he sell, right? He did this so that he could make the maximum amount of profit feasible. I can't wait until today when that appears, guys, and I wonder if he is going to support the Bitcoin community. Well, obviously not, right? Because he isn't, because he doesn't support that idea of retail being excellent liquidity. But if he didn't notice, that's literally in every project. I wish he would support the Bitcoin community. We are now coming down here, gentlemen. It's incredible how much attention there is currently being paid to the topic of exit liquidity. Are we authentic? Does Ripple have actual liquidity for exiting the market, as well as those who are supposedly insiders? According to Monkey, I am Ripple's exile liquidity, and I have increased by 589% so far this year. The question is, how could we possibly be exile liquidity when XRP has brought forth fresh ultimate highs in and of itself? Do you agree? If I were to ask you, I would say that it is a little bit unusual. Now, the reason why people say, we're exile liquidity is because extra liquidity is basically when they manipulate prices to go higher, and then it's when the insider sell guys is because of the fact that, okay, and then they are able to escape with their earnings while retail is left carrying the bag. As far as I can tell, the reason they claim this is because when you compare the amount of extra beaver spit to the total amount, there is always a pump, and then there is the dump pump, which is a dump pump, and then there is another pump, which may be another dump. According to Benjamin Cohen, this is the chart that they are discussing, and he stated that it is highly unlikely that XRP will ever return to these lows again. He stated that the price of XRP in comparison to Bitcoin will never drop below this level ever again. Okay, a Bitcoin maximum. Having said that, as you were discussing this chart, on the other hand, that is XRP versus Bitcoin. You are aware of this fact, but that is not on the USD pairing. It has been going and it has been flying. I'm sorry, people, but the comments that have been left here are like a ballistic, just like the rain. He is absolutely correct. On the other hand, this is illogical because it is not possible for everyone in the globe to be holding XRP at this moment. Shouldn't you be in a position to make a profit if you didn't purchase the tippity top? So have a look at this. If I unders, let's say that the price of XRP continues to rise, more individuals will short it, right? As a result, this provides additional fuel for XRP, which will continue to keep the shorts up, folks. Since we are discussing X liquidity, would you like to have a conversation regarding Satoshi Nakamoto? It is estimated that Satoshi Nakamoto is currently the 11th richest person on the earth due to the fact that his collection of 1.1 million bitcoins is currently worth an estimated $129 billion. This is the amount of Bitcoin that he currently possesses. When it was worth only a few cents, he mined it. Who among you is aware of this? The only reason they don't attack Satoshi for utilizing retail as exit liquidity is because he hasn't sold any of his cryptocurrency yet. The only time he ever sold Bitcoin was when it was so inexpensive that it was comparable to pennies. However, he continued to hold on from that time to the present. Would you guys be able to explain why an entity that possesses a significant quantity of a digital asset could be considered either a pro or a con? The advantages are that if they simply refuse to sell, there will be no selling pressure when the asset is moving in the upward direction. There will be no selling pressure. Consequently, this indicates that the asset will continue to soar. You would think that the selling pressure would be high if the entity Satoshi sold throughout the entire process, right? Bitcoin would not be anywhere near where it is at the moment. This is the reason why I believe he is waiting, guys. He is holding out hope that Bitcoin would reach a price of $1 million or perhaps more, such as high six figures. Following that, he will let out the Kraken, set it free, all right? So to those individuals who are stating you are holding a hefty sack of XRP with you for escrow number 1R, right? Oh, waves, you are holding an escrow, right? It will be made available on specific days in the future. The second point is that if they did sell, that is, if they were to sell some XRP, they would invest it back into the firm, which is Ripple, which is a fintech company, and thus, which then adopts the entire ecosystem to a greater extent, right? And innovation, people, is a wonderful thing because it speeds things up significantly. Around this point, I find it incredibly strange and strangely off that all of this false information, okay, like the majority of false information continues appearing around the lows of various charts. The Bitcoin community, the Ethereum community, and the Chainlink community have all launched attacks against us when we compare XRP to Chainlink. Each of these communities has also launched attacks against us. People that examine blockchains, transactions, and other related topics are now attacking us and dubbing us X liquidity, right? I find it amusing that all of this false information is coming when. What are some of the things that you guys see when you look at all of these charts in a purely analytical manner? On the other hand, XRP is compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin. A much better option is Bitcoin. XRP is performing far better than Bitcoin at this time. But these other charts, which are the ones that are driving the fear, uncertainty, and doubt campaigns, are oversold. What are the current levels of oversold inventory? Do you agree? On the other hand, the fact that all of this is coming out about when the charts are already oversold is just plain strange to me. Do you agree? In order for this to be coming out at this time, there must always be a cause for it. Do you agree? Crypto Inside UK is the source. At this moment, everyone despises XRP, aside from the holders. A number of people are commenting on each of my posts, stating that XRP is useless, that they are unable to tolerate it any longer, or that they have sold. It's not clear to me to what extent do people feel that it seems that individuals simply lack the patience to wait. Guys, just try to picture yourself sitting through this entire thing. The folks who bought here, on the other hand, are not showing any signs of dissatisfaction. I suppose that it is the people who bought here who are the ones who are complaining. The only additional P pump that they detect is a very slight one. Alternately, I suppose that is how they are moaning about the consolidation. Now, according to Lawman, that return is not even close to being feasible for the typical person. Plotting is the process of having luck to buy at the bottom. However, that is not the case. Oh, that's not accurate at all. For the 7 years that additional P was at the bottom of the list? Such as what? The question is, how was it? Oh my goodness, I was right. Remember when we mentioned that these individuals will be hitting us right and calling us a lot of names, calling us lucky to have bought the bottom? You guys remember that. To put it another way, he states it right here. There is a narrative that applauds the idea of having luck to buy the bottom, but in reality, that is not the case. However, this is not the case when additional persons are really 50 cents, 30 cents, for 7 years in a row, 20 cents. Do you folks know what happened during those times? So I'm not sure I buy it. I sincerely do not believe that the individuals who have purchased during the highs are. Where do you need to have a lot of luck in order to make a purchase at the very top? However, the bottoms are designed to last for years, in contrast to the tippity top, which only lasts for a few days at most. Okay, so I don't want to hear it, guys. I don't want to hear it. For me, that is absolutely incomprehensible. As of right now, it is. The fact that Larry Fink is unable to discuss XRP is rather amusing. I am unable to discuss XRP at this time. Once upon a time, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, made a statement. He is undoubtedly familiar with XRP. Yet why is it that they are unable to discuss it? It is the fruit that is banned. Voldemort, as you might refer to it, is the name of this creature. It's almost as if we had our very own covert organization. You see, all of you laughed out loud while watching this video. Following the viewing of this film, I am attempting to determine the reason why BlackRock has not yet submitted an additional PETF application. What are the reasons that you believe BlackRock has not submitted an additional PETF application? However, I do not believe that this is the explanation for it, and it is said that she purchased it for approximately $2 and then modified it. She has a net worth of around $500,000. It's not due of this particular reason. Are you aware of what it is? As for me, I have no idea. Perhaps Vitalik is aware of this. Despite the fact that BlackRock and other large institutions are submitting applications for Ethereum exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and already have access to a significant amount of funds, A significant amount of money is being invested in Ethereum.